Hello, welcome to Think and Grow Rich Daily Hangout. Sandy here. So hopefully the technology is going to work for us today because it's been a bit packed.
I'll try to sit over here.
She is freezing up, I think. Huh. Hi, Glenn.
Well, good morning, Sandy. How you doing?
Oh. Huh. Oh. Oh, now I've got music playing. Okay, so
I hear music in the background, and you know it says mine is just kind of hanging. It says opening Hangout toolbox, downloading app. So it must be there must be like an update or something on it, you know.
Yeah, it's working now. It's just been really on and off, so it's a bit frustrating actually because
Oh, Geraldine too.
time.
Hey, Geraldine.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Geraldine.
Good. How you doing? Good to see you.
You too.
It's been a while. You've had a busy summer, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good to see you.
I think you were
an
traveling
island.
too as well around where you?
Oh, okay. I think we got delays. Yeah, I think Glenn was, and so was I. So everyone was kind of off in different directions. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you fine, Sandy.
Oh, okay. It's just the image keeps freezing, so I'm a bit weary of Google Hangouts at the moment because it keeps cutting out and stuff. So going to try though today and keep it online. So so how are things going, Geraldine? You going well?
Yeah, good. Our internet has been very funny, so that's why I haven't been able to come on much. So I'm hoping today it'll be okay.
Ah, yeah, you too. I wonder if it's been some sort of glitch with the Hangout technology because it's been happening to quite a lot of people. I've been hearing. Um, so let's just hope that. I mean, it's amazing we have this free tool. I just hope it can keep going and get better.
Me too, because
Yeah.
you know, and I've been watching other Hangouts too, where you know there's technical issues on this, you know, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's ask the universe to help us have a clear picture. At the moment, we've got up to Geraldine. We're actually reading from the lecture notes from Napoleon Hill, and we're just about to start some new ones actually. So, do you guys want me to read, seeing as I've already got it open, or if one of you wants to quickly grab it and then read it, that's also fine.
Uh, which one were you? Did you leave off on, Sandy? What?
It's the beginning of the fourth one, like literally.
The fourth one. Okay, I see. I had third open here, so I'm going to open the fourth one here. Hold on.
Do you want to read then, Glenn?
Yeah, I can read. Sure.
Okay.
Let me just increase it here.
So in the ones that I've been reading till now, basically he was the last episode he was talking about like having enthusiasm, but not kind of. I think he was basically talking about hype and enthusiasm. I realized this afterwards because he was talking about people that when they're telling you about something, they're so kind of intense.
Oops. Yeah. Yeah, see, we've had these connection problems, Geraldine, for a while. Have you noticed that? You know, it's been kind of tough, you know. Meantime, I'm going to line up. I'm not sure what page Sandy's on yet, but once she comes back and we get the page number, I'll read then, you know. So I see that you've had a busy summer because I saw you had gone over to Sweden, was it, or?
Yeah, that was in September. Yeah, it's lovely. Stockholm's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I'd like to see it some. So I'll add that to my list. You know.
And you did a good bit of traveling as well.
Yeah. We've been to California, and then we just went to Washington.
And so.
You know. Looks like Sandy dropped off, but we'll give her a minute. We'll give her a minute or two. We can just visit while we're waiting. You know. Yeah, we just went to Washington D.C. and we did a seminar with a gal called Mary Morrissey. Wonderful, absolutely. It was called Dream Builder, you know, for building your dreams, you know.
Yeah.
Remarkable, you know. Yeah, remarkable. What a strong woman. You guys would love her if you saw her in person. You know. Very powerful.
Hey guys, back again. Sorry,
Okay.
it cut out. It's so strange because I actually have the internet speed I have now is twice as fast, so I thought it would be working better, but this is why I suspect it might be a Google problem because my
Yeah.
internet is faster than some people in America's now. So Glenn, do you have the page or?
Okay, I wasn't sure what page you're on, but I've got number 4 up.
Okay, just at the beginning because I just reached the end of number 3 in the last one.
Okay.
So it's
Then I'll start right there. I'll start at the top of page 1. Okay. So
Okay.
I'll do a here. Here. There we go. Share. Okay. Can you see it well?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. So we'll just start here. And again, we're at an evening lecture right by there. So it says, well, we're on a great lesson tonight. We're starting off with personal initiative. This is a great lesson because it's the action-producing portion of this philosophy. It wouldn't make much difference whether you understood all of the other principles or not if you didn't do something about it. Now, would it? Audience members, no. In other words, the value that you're going to get out of this philosophy will not consist of anything that I will say in these lectures, nor consist of anything that I put in my notes. That stuff is important, but the important thing is what you will do about all of this. The action you will take to start using this philosophy on your own personal initiative. There are certain attributes of initiative and leadership. Start grading yourself on them. There are 31 of them. Incidentally, this is grading of yourself on these qualities will be the first step towards making those qualities your own. Okay, so now we'll start on the 31. So we'll start with 1, a definite major purpose. Obviously, if you don't have an objective in life, a major overall purpose, you haven't very much personal initiative. That's one of the most important steps to take. Find out what it is you want to do. If you're not sure what you want to do over a lifetime, let's find out what you're going to do this year. Let's set our goal not too high, perhaps, and not too far in the distance. If you're in a business or profession or job, your definite major purpose will certainly enable you to step up your income from your services, whatever your services may be. Then at the end of the year, you can review your record and reestablish your definite major purpose and step it up to something bigger, maybe to another 1-year plan, or maybe to a 5-year plan. In other words, that's the starting point of personal initiative. Find out where you're going, why you're going there, what you're going to do after you get there, and how much you're going to get out of it financially. The majority of people in this world could be very successful if they would just make up their mind how much success they want and what terms they want to evaluate success. There are a lot of people in this world who want a good position and plenty of money, but they're not quite sure just what kind of position, how much money they want, or when they want to get it. Let's do a little thinking on that subject and grade ourselves on number 1. Number 2, edict with motive. To inspire continuous action in pursuit of the object of one's definite major purpose, study yourself carefully and see if you have an edict with motive or motives. It will be very much better if you have more than one motive for wanting to attain the object of your major purpose, whatever that happens to be, or your immediate purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody ever does anything without a motive. Let me restate that. That's not correct. No one outside of the insane asylum or a person who is off balance may do a lot of things without a motive whatsoever. Normal people move only on motive. The stronger the motive is, the more active they become, and the more apt they are to act upon their own personal initiative. You don't have to have an awful lot of brains in this world. You don't have to be so very brilliant. You don't have to have such a wonderful education in order to be an outstanding success. If you only take what little you have, whether it's little or much, and start using it, putting it into operation, doing something about it, and with it. 3, a mastermind alliance. That is to say, a friendly cooperation, at least through which to acquire the necessary power for noteworthy achievement. Take the initiative now and find out just how many friends you have that you can call on if you are in need of something in the way of cooperation. Make a list of them in your notes. Make a list of the people that you really, truly could turn to if you needed some favor, endorsement, introduction, loan of money, etc. Incidentally, unless you have all the money lying around that you need, the time might come when you need to make a loan. Wouldn't it be very nice to know someone that you can turn to in case of need and get the money you need? You can always go to a bank. All you have to do is give 4-for-1 security, government bonds, and you can get all the money you want. But there are times when you want medium sums, perhaps, or you want the other favors comparable to the borrowing of money, and you need to have the acquaintance of somebody cultivated so that when you turn to them for favors, you can get them. Above all, if you're aiming at anything above mediocrity, you need to have a mastermind alliance of 1 or more people besides yourself who not only will cooperate with you, but who will also go out of the way to help you. It's up to you to take the initiative to build a mastermind alliance. They don't just come along and join you because you're a good fellow or lady. You have to lay out a plan, you have to lay out an objective, and you have to find the people suitable to make up your mastermind alliance. Then you have to give them an edict with motive for becoming a mastermind alliance of yours. Incidentally, Napoleon happened to know the vast majority of people do not have a mastermind alliance with other people. Don't be afraid to grade yourself 0 on this one. But next time you come to grade, don't grade 0. Grade higher than that. The only way you can grade higher is to start in and find at least one mastermind ally that you can attach yourself to right now. 4, self-reliance in proportion to the nature of your major purpose. Find out just exactly how much self-reliance you have. Incidentally, when you come to check yourself in self-reliance, you may need some help from other people. You may need some help from your wife, your husband, or your closest friend. You may think you have self-reliance, but do you know how you can tell how much self-reliance you have? Would you be interested in knowing how you can check that very accurately? Audience members, yes. All right. Go back up there to number 1 and carefully evaluate your definite major purpose and see just how big that is. If you don't have one, or if it's not outstanding and above anything that you have attained up until the present, then you don't have very much for self-reliance, and you should grade very low on that. If you have the proper amount of self-reliance, you step your definite major purpose up way beyond anything you ever achieved before, and you'll become determined to attain it. 5, self-discipline. Sufficient to ensure mastery of the head, the heart, and to sustain one's motives until they are realized. Where and when do you need self-discipline? Most do you think when you're on the way up and when everything is rosy? Is that when you need it? Audience members, no. I thought you'd call me on that one. That's right. You need self-discipline when the going is hard and when the outlook is not favorable. What kind of self-discipline do you need at that point? You need the discipline over your mind to the extent that you know where you're going, you know that you have the right to go there, and you know that you're determined to go there, regardless of how hard the going may be or how much opposition you may meet with. You'll need at least enough self-discipline to sustain yourself through the period when the going is hard instead of quitting or complaining. Number 6, persistence, based on the will to win. Do you know how many times the average person has to fail before he quits or decides if he wants to do something else? Audience member, once. Did you ever hear the fellow who fails before he starts because he knows that he can't do it? That cuts it down below 1. Would you be interested in knowing that the vast majority of people fail before they start? They actually never make a start. They think of things that they might do but never do anything about it. Did you know also that a vast majority of the people, even though they do start at the first opposition, they quit or allow themselves to be diverted over to something else? Napoleon's most outstanding asset was the self-discipline with which to stick to a thing all the harder when the going was the hardest. Without those traits, he would never have completed this philosophy, and he would never have been able to have it introduced as widely as it has been. Is that trait something you're born with, or is it something you can acquire? Audience members acquire. Well, if you couldn't acquire, there would be no use talking about this lesson, would there? Audience members, no. Certainly you can acquire it, and it's not very difficult at that. What is it that causes a person to be persistent, by the way? Audience member, motive. Napoleon, yes, motive, a burning desire. Do you know what a burning desire is? A burning desire is what makes people persistent, isn't it? Napoleon never thought of persistence and a burning desire that he didn't think of his courtships. He put more persistence and more burning desire back of his courtship more than anything else ever went into his life. Without that, you can't get very far in courtship. Don't you think you could transmute that emotion over to something else, putting it back of your business, profession, or job, and have just as much emotional feeling about attaining success in your job as you could about selling yourself to the one of your choice? Don't you think you could do that? Do you know what the word transmute means, by the way? What does it mean? Audience member, redirect. Napoleon, fine, fine, marvelous. Have you ever tried it on anything or anybody? Audience members, yes. Napoleon, marvelous, marvelous. If you haven't tried it, start trying it. Next time you feel moody or discouraged, try to change that over into an emotion of courage and faith. See what a marvelous thing happens to you. It'll change your whole chemistry of your whole brain and your whole body, and you'll be much more effective. 7, a well-developed faculty of the imagination, controlled and directed. Do you think those last words there are important? Audience members, yes. Napoleon, yes. An imagination not controlled and directed might be very dangerous. Napoleon once made an analysis of all the men in federal penitentiaries of the U.S. He did that for the Department of Justice, and you'll be interested in knowing that the majority of the men in the penitentiary were there because they had too much imagination. Not were there because they had too much imagination, but not controlled and directed in a constructive direction. Imagination is a marvelous thing, but if you don't have it under control and if you don't direct it to constructive ends, it may be very dangerous to you.
Glenn?
Yes.
We can stop there for today.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, thank you so much for reading. It dropped on my end for a bit, so I kind of missed a bit of the reading, but did you guys want to share anything from what you read?
Well, yeah, I think the inventory of these 31 items that he's going through is very reflective of the whole book, right? I mean, it really is. And you'll set the number one, set your, create, even if you, I think even if you don't know what your purpose is, right, create one, right? Make one, right? Make a purpose, build a purpose for yourself, You know what I mean? And then as you begin to achieve it, then you'll embellish it, you'll enhance it, It looks like maybe Sandy might be out for a little bit there. Any comments, Geraldine?
It's funny because I actually haven't been on Witches for about 2 months, I think. So it was interesting for me to notice that, that whole thing of definite purpose, it's very easy to lose it.
It is.
This hangout was a great way for me to remind myself every morning of my definite purpose, Yeah. And it's so easy just to lose it, and it was a lovely little reminder again now. Yeah. And then that whole thing of persistence, and it's interesting to notice that if you lose touch with your purpose, that it's quite hard to put the persistence in.
Yeah, right. And then the burning desire, right? And the burning desire, right? I mean, that's I think when you're really strong in your purpose, I think it does help to build a fire of burning desire in your being,
And I think there's definitely something about keeping that fire alight, to keep it really alive.
Yeah.
And I think and how easy it is to kind of just let it go out. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you just got to keep working on it all the time, right? I mean, it's and like he says, there's going to be times when you're going to have doubts or you're going to have a little trouble. And Sandy and I have talked about that a lot too. And what you do is you try to use those times when you have doubts or problems. You try to use that as information or as feedback to yourself, right? To make adjustments. You know what I mean? To say, hey, you know, and it isn't necessarily that you have to wind up being negative with yourself, because you don't. You just have to take it and use it as feedback, right? Use the times when it's tough as feedback. You know, we're talking about, Sandy. We're talking about the bit about sometimes losing your burning desire. You know.
Yeah, yeah, because something that I once learned in workshops was, you know, that sometimes when you have a purpose, it can become a little bit like a box, because it can be a bit constricting. That sometimes, you know, we change and our desires change.
Yeah.
And I think what helps me with that is that at the same time, I found it is useful to have a key thing you're working towards, because I've noticed that when I don't, it's almost like I have all this energy to put into something, and I'm not really consciously choosing anything to put it into. So I think it's helped. A way of keeping the fire alive is you choose a purpose, you know, or a target is the word I like to use. It just feels a little bit lighter. And then if it needs to change, it needs to change. But it doesn't have to be cast in concrete. But having something that you know, it makes you excited. You know, when you think about it and you can see it happening, it really lights you up, or it just would make everything worthwhile. Then that. And it's not to say that it just always stays a light. Like, I actually made a video about this yesterday. I had a funny experience recently where I stopped, apart from this hangout, I actually also usually read other books as well.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for a year and a half or so, just over a year. And I stopped recently because for my birthday I gave myself a book, which is a really big book. And then I couldn't stop reading the next book after that, and the next one after that, and the next one after that. And these are huge books of 800, 900 pages.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to read anything else, and I was literally like squeezing in everything I do normally into when I'm not reading this book. You know, as a treat for anything I was doing, I was going back to my book. And I noticed a few days ago that something had happened to my vibration. Like I was starting to feel different, and I was starting to feel more like how I used to feel when I always read the news and watched the TV and listened to the radio.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to get up in the morning as much as I normally do. I wasn't as excited about what I was doing. I was starting to feel a bit like jaded with everything. And I suddenly realized that I had stopped reading. And I said, okay, tomorrow I'm reading for a whole hour. I'm not going to read my other book. I'm going to read personal development books. And it just changed my energy literally in 1 hour. It was amazing. It was like someone just turned on a big light and put that fire back up. So I think sometimes, yeah, like what you said, Geraldine, about keeping that fire alive, for me personally, what helps a massive amount is what I put in. You know, is like the wood and the sticks and the newspaper is reading. And actually, something really funny I can quickly share about what I was doing just before we did this hangout. It's the book I've just started reading. I love it. It's called A Happy Pocket Full of Money. And it'd be of interest to anyone who's, you know, part of this hangout, because it's obviously about creating wealth, it's about wealth consciousness. And I just love it. It's just a really fun little book. And one of the things it talks about is to have a visualization book, not just a board, but like a notebook in which you write, or you can put it on your computer, all the things you would like to create. And so it made me laugh. One of the first things you read, Glenn, was most people don't know what they want, you know, what they're asking for. And what he says in the book is that a lot of people, they say they want a nicer house, or they say they want a nicer car, or a soulmate, but they don't really know much more than that. They don't have the details worked out. And he suggests getting very clear, like writing it down, like researching what kind of car would you like, writing down what kind of partner would you like or would not like, you know, writing down where would you like to move to. And he says, you know, you can have up to, like, he says if you really want to create a lot of wealth, you need to have a huge list, because that will just give the universe lots of things to bring to you rather than just 10 or 20.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's really...
You know, I've taken saying when you lean into the universe will lean back to you. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, right?
Yeah.
I think it works that way. You know. Yeah, and as far as the major purpose, you know, we just did my wife and I just did a dream builder thing there in Washington or in Arlington, Virginia, and what she says there on dream building, she says, if you don't have a dream, create, you know, make one up, doesn't matter, right? Make one up, and then and I think when you look at that dream, you say, well, I can't do that. Well, what steps can you take with what you've got right now?
I think so. I've been
Oh, we're having some cut-ins and cut-outs here, unfortunately. That makes it kind of tough, you know, to really have coherence, you know. Anyway, so make up a dream, right? Make up a dream, and then start, you know, because I think that's you got to have something to fuel the burning desire, right? And the way you fuel it is first you start to construct it. Then next thing you know, you're beginning to invest your emotions in it. If you invest your emotions, then you begin to build a fire, you know. So Sandy, I was telling Geraldine that you know, we did that Mary Morrissey seminar.
Oh yeah.
And about dream building, you know. She says, if you don't have a dream, make one up. Make it up, right? Make it up, and then start designing that dream, and then you use what you've got right now to take a step towards the dream, right? And then from that, you will build the burning desire. You know, you can do that, right? It's all right. And then, like you were saying, then at the end of the year, you may say, wow, I'm going to increase my dream, right? Or I'm going to do something different. You know, I mean, I'm going to, you know, but like you say, you're kind of on a consistent path, right? There's consistency to it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, like in this book I was just mentioning, they suggest looking at your book of the things you'd like to create.
Yeah.
Twice a day, you know, like when you wake up, and just to frame your day with that energy, and then before you go to sleep, you know, or go off and play in the universe, reading through it again, and you don't have to look at the whole thing, I think, but just it's like getting that energy, building that energy, so that you're with it, and you start to notice things that have that energy when they present themselves, and you attract them more.
Yeah, you're adding little sticks to the fire, right? That's what you're doing, right? When you do that, right? You're throwing another little stick to the fire that's going to help your burning desire, right? I mean, it's cool.
And there's something about picture, and it reminded me, actually, I remember once watching an interview with Tony Robbins with two internet kind of gurus who had come to him for training before they became big names, and one of them was saying that he used to work for a company for a long time, and that he was making, you know, average kind of quite a good wage, but not enough to buy a luxury car, and that was his big dream for a long time. And he used to buy Auto Trader magazine and circle the luxury cars that he would be interested in buying, even though he didn't have 50, 60, 70, whatever, I don't know, $100,000 lying around to buy it. And his friends would laugh at him, you know, in the office they would laugh at his magazines. But guess what? They're all still working there, most of them, or in that same similar jobs. And he's now become this big internet guy, and has one of the cars that he wanted. I think he even has like 2 or 3, because he's a bit of a car head. But that's always stuck with me, because I think there's a power in images, or like getting a clearer sense of what it is exactly. And it doesn't have to be material things, you know. In Happy Pocket Full of Money, they talk about it could be all kinds of things, you know, having the time to spend with friends, so that you hug one of your good friends once a week. It could be one of that, you know.
Yeah.
Being able to tickle your dog's tummy.
Yeah.
Like. Doesn't have to be, you know, a Ferrari or a massive mansion.
No, it's the things that are important to you, right? I think that's what you kind of design your dream around anyway, you know.
Yeah, your lifestyle, basically.
Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
cool. Well, might wrap it up before it cuts out again. Did you want
okay.
to add anything before we finish?
Anything else,
Uh,
Geraldine?
I'd just like to say that it's great to be back on because it's really after just reminding me of the energy that I like to sort of be in, and
Yeah.
it's interesting because what I'm sort of realizing is I had this goal, a target to get my dream car, and I got it. We bought our dream car there about a
Oh,
month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
know,
now,
it's really amazing.
now,
But
now it's time to grow, right? Yeah.
but it was like once I reached that target, I forgot to make another one. So it was a bit like I'm, and now it's just have to remind me. Now I'll make another target.
yeah.
So that.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, congratulations for that, by the way, Geraldine,
Yeah,
for getting your
yeah.
dream car. I love the
Great
video
work.
about that. And actually, in the book that I'm just reading, that he says, if you would like to create a lot of wealth, then have 5,000 things in your book. Like he says, have at least 100, so that because he's saying the way that the universe works, it doesn't bring things one after the other. That
No,
and that
it's going to surprise you.
yeah, and that the more things you have that you would like,
Yeah.
it's just like there's more. The more gifts it can bring you because it knows more of what you would like. It's like you've made. It's like if a kid made a not shopping list, a Christmas list to Father Christmas or Santa if you're in America, and there's two things on it, and the parents can't find.
Darn.
Oh, you've lost her. We might have to get the rest of the story tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, geez. I think the connection there is in and out. You know what I mean? In other words, her latency or whatever the term, the IT technology is not consistent enough. And ours has been pretty good. Overall today.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been too bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, should we wait and see if she's going to
Yeah,
come back
we'll
in?
wait.
Or...
Let her wrap. Yeah, we'll wait and let her wrap. So you did get a car. What kind of a car did you get, Geraldine?
Neither of those things.
I thought at least.
Oh.
No. It's an electric car. Me and my husband would be very passionate about the environment.
But the environment, yeah.
And we've always wanted
correct.
an electric.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, very neat. Very neat.
Yeah.
Well, we'll give her another.
And I think there's something. Yeah. I think there was something as well about buying it new. Like I've never had a new car before, so it was like quite a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is a big deal. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Sandy, we're kind of losing you on and off.
I know. I think it must be my end. I'm going to check it out again. I'm sort of losing my patience here with this because it's.
Well, it seems to me like it's your ISP, your internet service provider, because I don't think it's your computer. I think you've got a good computer there. And when you were in France, we didn't have these problems at all. Hardly.
Well, we didn't. Well, just my last month when I was in Toulouse, we did because the box. I've got a.
I guess when you were in Vence, right, or whatever, right?
Yeah, but it was. But then when you had to fix it, but this is strange. But they told us it was the service network, which has been having problems for the last 4 weeks, and we're paying more now to get higher speed internet, so it should have been. But I think regardless of the speed, it's just cutting completely.
Yeah. That's
making Hangouts really difficult, which isn't great. But anyway, I'll see what I can do. And thank you so much for reading, Glenn. And Geraldine, it's great to see you back again. Really nice to see you.
Yeah, it's nice to see you, Geraldine. Everybody have a great day.
Have a great day, everyone, and have fun like making Christmas lists. So,
Yeah.
even if you had what I was saying before it got off, I'll leave it for now. Bye, everyone.
Have a lovely day, evening.
Thank you. Yeah,
Bye.
you too. Bye.